Alright, it is a Sunday morning coffee drinking, chain smoking review. Welcome to my poor habits. Shit. This week, we pushed a little bit of work out. We drew a little more work in. Not a banner week. Week before last was starting this slide that to burnout, I think, probably. Anyhow, one grand week. So now what am I doing? I get a call. I get a text. As of tomorrow, I'm supposed to get a deposit dropped off, or payment dropped off. I got to build a man basket and truss jib. I wouldn't be discussing this job if it went another way, but he wants a legal sized man basket for the all-terrain forklifts and truss jib. At least around these parts, you get a man basket over 10 foot. Occupational occupational safety, whoever the fuck, OSHA. They want to shut your operation down because a man basket over 10 feet wide has been deemed dangerous. Not that 10 footers aren't, but you know what I mean. That's the question there. Here's a moral dilemma. When I was a framer, I had a 24-foot basket. Motherfucker was huge, okay? Without incident. We owned this thing for several years without incident. It took me about 4 years out of my own to decide framing was not my gig. And mind you, that's pretty much all I had done for the most part up to that point in my career as a carpenter. It didn't take me long after I was running the show. Anyhow. So that'll go out. It's got to go out in a crunch. I hate crunch jobs. Every job's a crunch job for me, though. We're getting the bodywork reconciled on the wet sanding, I should say. Reconciled on the Monte Carlo 71. If I don't push it in the booth Monday to paint, I'll push it in the booth Tuesday to paint the body. See, at that point, we can get, I gotta go get a car cover for it now once I get the body painted. But then we can get the bits and pieces sealed, wet sanded, painted, get everything fitted. Start fitting the body back together at that point. You can have a running, driving car as I'm getting the rest of the parts prepped. My helper Daryl, the owner of the Monte Carlo, is his neighbor. It's a big cavorted fucking love story, I suppose. I don't know, but anyhow, so they're buddies, which is cool because Ralph's a good guy, Denise is a good gal. They're solid good people, and we've had their car for fucking ever. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of looking at it. I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of stressing over it. So there it is. It goes into the booth this week to get the body painted. I got a series of these motorcycle tins I got to show you guys. I committed a erroneous, ignorant, stupid, dumb son of a bitch of a mistake. And I don't even know that we can call it truly a mistake. It's almost fucking... almost on purpose. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Petcock on the big compressor tank broke about the time we moved in there. See where this is going. Petcock on my main water separator broke a long time ago, but I could still use it, but it twisted off about the time we moved in there. And the little pumpkin ball filters I had on my guns, I had one on my clear. It fucking broke. And I'll tell you what, I can shuffle through $10,000 at junk car lot cars, reasonable parking lot cars, owners' cars. I can shuffle through a shitload of that type of work and blow and go. Shoot them and send them right out, not even have to touch them. Any nib traces that are left because of the enclosed space we can shoot in now, that's filtered and vented. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. I have minimal nib issues. I shot these motorcycle tins, and this is going to be my response of everything happens for a fucking reason. You just gotta, sometimes you gotta step back and really look at it and why. Pardon me. Allergies today. Everything's alive and all the dead stuff is thawing out. So I got all this trash from the lines and this real nice $high clear. I did everything wrong. I had my pressure bump. I was in a hurry. Had my pressure bumped too high, painting these tins, making a big old cloud. My transfer ratio from my gun to my workpiece was minimal. Did everything wrong. There you go. Looked good. Took pictures, put them up. Looked good. Got in the morning, started wet sanding stuff down, and started running into issues. Just shit trapped under the clear coat. Verdict comes down. We start scrubbing these pieces down so they can be reshot again. When I reshoot them, it's gonna, spot sealer in a couple areas, and just gotta go real light, fog it with pigment for 2-3 coats, and then you can lay it on heavy. Otherwise, you cause yourself more problems. But so that sucks. That's a bummer. But what I'm trying to get around to in this long, cavorted story, the brand new front fender, we scrubbed it with acetone and 80 grit, and then put it in sealer. I had these little halos forming around the rivets on the sides. So I sanded them out, shot it with sealer again, wet sanded everything. It appeared to be okay. Got it in. Now I've fucked up this paint job. Verdict comes down. I'm scrubbing it and reshooting it. I got Daryl scrubbing down these parts. 600 wet sand, scrubbing it down. I want to see. Motorcycle tins are very complex objects. Anybody that's painted them before knows what I mean. They're a pain in the ass to paint. They're a pain in the ass to wet sand. They're a pain in the ass to polish. Part of why it's sort of expensive to do them, because it takes time. It's a time killer. Well, from here on through, it's all on my time. I'm fucked. But Daryl got to wet sanding. It actually tore the paint to the metal right off the rivet and around the rivet on the front fender. I had a lift and complete adhesion failure around those rivets. So, everything happens for a reason. If I hadn't screwed up that paint job, if I hadn't been in a hurry, I wouldn't have traced all my issues down and got my compressor petcock fixed, got filters for the guns. I wouldn't have gone through those paces to make sure I don't ruin a paint job. Then we get to cleaning it up. That guy would have come back in a week just fucking livid, because that paint would have blown right off that front fender. We would have started those rivets and just flew up. So there's your moral for the day. Everything happens for a reason. You just got to look real hard at why. See, if I had not had any problems, those fenders and tank would have went out. Those tins would have went out. He would have brought them back pissed. Then I would have moved on to the Monte Carlo with the same issues. That's an expensive fucking paint job. Just scrub down and reshoot. So that's where we're at. We got a van in there. It's been lingering for 3 weeks. Guy needs it. He actually stopped by yesterday. We worked 8 to noon. I am going to do a little tour around the shop here soon. because it's starting to look like a shop. It was really starting to appear like the fucking neighborhood hangout, and I was sick of it. So we spent 4 hours yesterday building fixtures, clearing off shelves, getting stuff squared away. A buddy of mine brought me a rack. I think it was for weights or something, and it was just a T with wheels on each side of the T and another one on the other end, you know, and a frame. And they had little stocks on it, a little tree type thing. And it's perfect for holding short chunks of steel that don't fit on my scrap metal shelves or my longer shelves for shit that's like 10 feet, you know, 7 to 10 feet long is what I put up on another rack. Everything else I've got to lay on the floor now until we reinvent the shop. We'll reinvent the shop after RV bus leaves, which would be probably in the next month. It'll go outside or go away, one of the two. That'd be kind of a sad day because I enjoy having Jerry around. But I'm building a bigger version of that to put bumpers on wheels so I can roll it in the corner. I did a trailer a while back and bought some 4.5-inch channel iron. So I used that for the base, the I-beam base, and I used the table I built, that 2x2 tubing, heavy ass tubing. I built the frame out of that. So that was kind of cool. I could build all the stocks. I broke my fucking bandsaw again, the clamp on it. I haven't decided what I'm going to do there. Friday, I just about fucking popped the cork. I wound up, we had a friend in the shop Friday. He may come down and help us out part-time. That's what he was down there on Friday to talk to me about. And we're putting together a 2008 Impala to get shoved out the door. Daryl was having a hard time. Aftermarket fucking parts. Let's start there. There's one perfectly round bolt hole, little tiny fucker, and he lined up the fender on that bolt hole. Well, all the other bolts would fit because they're big square holes for everything to fit in. He wrestled this fucking thing. We almost ruined the fender. I'm like, all right. We stopped, we filled up our coffee cups, we sat down, we took 10 minutes, had a cigarette, and went back to it. Took everything off, put it all back together. I said, this bolt right here, threw it over my fucking shoulder. I said, it ain't going back on. This far away from that bolt were the two bolts that hold the hood hinge down. So it's not like we fucked anything up. But that hole that's supposed to be an alignment hole for your fender was that far off, creating all kinds of havoc. So we got that taken care of. This is one of those projects that I could get an aftermarket bumper. Let's say it takes 3 hours to clean up a bumper, or I buy a bumper, shoot it, and put it on. For the owner, that's a wash. I can buy and sell these bumpers for $150 or so. And we're putting it on, and the day after you paint something, the paint's still soft. 2 days after you paint something, the paint's still soft. It's not really cured. Daryl got a little freaky with it, and he's learning where finesse and power have to kind of interrelate on doing body work, and tore a quarter-sized chunk of paint off the bumper cover. So, I put on my headphones, just get the fuck out. My buddy Mike was there. Daryl's in there just staring at me as I'm trying to just, if I got people there staring at me, watching me, or peeking in the door and looking or whatever, I get more pissed off. There's not a good reason for this, and it serves no good function. It's just go, Daryl, go grind body filler on the van down. Go work on the van. Just everybody out of the paint booth. Just get the fuck out of here. I pulled the flap, let the flap down because I don't have doors built yet. Plugged on my iPod, put in my headphones, and I cranked up to Apocalypse Hoboken And I listened to jerk lessons for an hour until I got the car done. Owner comes in and goes, all right, check this out. And it was a really good touch-up. But in my opinion, there's no fucking such thing as a touch-up. Not in a good respect. Not something that's flawless and seamless and looks like it was painted that way. I've never been able to pull that off. Showed him that. Well, he wants to do the rear bumper soon, and we're probably going to replace the hood. So, you know, if you're cool with this right now, we'll scrub the bumper and we'll reshoot it, because it's fucked and I can't just touch it up. It doesn't exist. So he was cool with that. He paid. He took his car. He was happy. His wife was happy. Moral of that fucking episode is sometimes you have to break shit. Sometimes you gotta throw that 5-year-old tantrum. It was an accident. Daryl never does anything maliciously, and he rarely actively fucks shit up. Just having another person in the shop that you're responsible for kind of keys up my stressors anyhow. So I just got them out of there. I don't think it helped that my mask this week was giving up the ghost. I threw it away. I painted another bumper cover Friday after that. And I put the base on. I'm like, I don't feel very well. I got this headache going. My stomach's just not right. So I pulled out another mask from the cabinet and wore it when I did the clear coat. Sure enough, I chucked the mask that I had been using in the trash, and I'm good to go. So watch your masks. Watch your respirators. Nose being fucked up, I can't really smell the solvents that well. But I got to a point I could smell the fucking solvents, so I knew I was in danger. There you go. Pitch the mask, move on with life. Ugh. That's about it. I mean, we're really wrapping up quick today. Hopefully I haven't yammered on too long. YouTube... was it YouTube Garage Shop Talk or YouTube Shop Talk? That's a fun little group on the Facebooks. I'm trying to become more active in some things. One of the subjects of discussion was the North Star engines. And I'll tell you something, folks. When I was doing service work, I had a little Ryobi impactor. And I know they weren't little, they're pretty good size. Impact, 18 volt impact. And I had one of those cars come in. I was petrified. I didn't work on a lot of North Stars. I'm not a certified technician, but most of your general repairs, pulling a 3.4 and dropping a new 3.4 in, or tearing it down and rebuilding, these are all things I can do and I've done. The North Stars were a little shaky because it's got that Cadillac emblem attached to it, you know. Emphatically, there's something created sacred because of this emblem. So we got the information printed out, and we're looking at it, and it books for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, something crazy. I got in there, I tore this fucker open. Take all your bolts out. The intake's got O-rings, so they're reusable. Tore all the bolts out, propped it up. Took the bolts off the starter, pulled the starter and wire out, undid the wire outside of the intake, chucked it, grabbed the new starter, shoved it in there. You can do this in 15 minutes. Correctly. Without hurting anything, you can do this in 15 minutes. Water pumps are another one on those North Stars, because they've got a separate drive pulley that drives the water pump, and you got a special socket. You pay $30 once for this socket, and you drain some water off, you pull a tensioner and a belt, pop the fucking pump out, pop the new pump in, put the pulleys and tensioners and belts all together, and fill it up with water, and you're down the road. I gotta be honest, if I could line up a dozen of those to do tomorrow, here's a trick. Those starters are a couple $100. Shop's gonna retail them out between $300 and $500 depending on how much of a cunt your shop is. They're going to book you for 2 hours, which could be anywhere from $100 to $200. water pump's only slightly different in the same arena of number arrangements. If I could line up a dozen of those, I'd do them tomorrow. Any tech with his head out of his ass could do 15 North Star starters and or water pumps in a day and go home early. So that's the trick. There you go. I don't articulate as well via keyboard. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I am out of coffee. I am out of colloquials, stories, fables, and just bullshit. All out of bullshit. So we're going to check in next week. I might get up some videos today. Laptop screen's still broken, so I pirate my girl's monitor and get online and do my shit from there. So the laptop's fine. It's just a broken screen. I use a different monitor and I'm fine. That's it. This is a wrap. This is Sunday Morning Coffee.